Hey guys and girls, it's your boy Danny T, and today we are going to be building some different worship pedal boards on 3 different budgets. So I see a lot of pedal board rundowns on YouTube and stuff for worship players, and then I see a lot of people doing like budget pedal boards as well for like, you know, build a worship pedal board for $200 and stuff. I thought I would put this video right in the middle of them. So we've got a dirt cheap, like under $100 pedal board. Then we've got one that's a bit more expensive, between $200 and $300. Then we've got one that's a bit more expensive again, probably between $300 to $600, depending on where you get them and where you live. So I'm going to shoot them out a bit so you can kind of decide for yourself. Do you prefer the cheap one, the mid-price one, or the expensive one? You can decide if it's worth the money or not. But let's talk about what goes into a worship pedal board. So for me, there is 3 main types of pedals that are critical for any worship board. I think it's generally agreed that these 3 pedals are necessary for any worship board, so I don't think I'm alone here. But the first pedal that we need to put on our worship pedal board is a compressor pedal. So a compressor pedal, if you don't know what it does, takes all our loud notes, all our quiet notes, and kind of brings them together so they meet kind of there. So you don't get lost in the mix. When you play super quiet, you can still hear it. When you play super loud, it kind of hides those louder notes, which is really cool. It's kind of a really cool and handy tone shaping tool that helps you sit in the mix really well for worship music. The second type of pedal that's going on our board is a transparent overdrive. So I know a lot of people prefer a tube screamer type drive on their worship pedal board to get that mid hump. I prefer a transparent drive. I've used a tube screamer type pedal and a transparent pedal at different times on my worship pedal boards, and I always prefer the transparent pedal sorry. It just sits a lot better in the mix. If for worship music anyway, 9 times out of 10 the tube screamer will sit better in the mix. But for worship music and for the soundscapes you're creating and the atmosphere you're creating, a transparent overdrive works a lot better in my opinion. And lastly, we will need a reverb or delay pedal. Reverb and or delay pedal. Probably delay before reverb. So any time-based effect that's going to create some ambience. So I would recommend delay first, and then if you've got a bit of money or a bit of space on the board, get a reverb as well. Absolutely get a reverb. But a delay or reverb, either one will do good on a worship pedal board. So let's take a look at our cheapest worship pedal board that we're starting with. So we've firstly got this Joyo Dyna comp. Now this is repainted. I repainted this because I think the actual Joyo Dyna comp is horrendously ugly. But does it sound good? Yes, absolutely. It is a great subtle compressor that I used for years and years and years on my worship pedal board and my main pedal board as well. So it is a great compressor, not just for a cheap pedal board, but for any price point, it's a great compressor. These run between $30 and $50 brand new, depending on where you find them. You're going to get really subtle compression, a really easy to use pedal. You kind of can't tell when it's on, but when it's off, you know it's off. It's a really great pedal, the Joyo Dyna comp. Secondly, we've got another cheap repainted pedal. This is the K-Line Orange Burst, again, that I've repainted. This is one of my favorite overdrive distortion pedals of all time. Not just cheap ones, just of all time. This is a great overdrive pedal. This is a great example of a transparent overdrive. So you've got volume, gain, bass and treble. So you've got all the controls you'll need. You've got plenty of gain on tap. There's probably a bit too much gain on tap if you dime it for worship music, but it just means you can do other things with it as well. This particular K-Line Orange Burst, as I'm sure they all are, is a bit noisy, but the controls are really sensitive, which to me is a good thing, but to a new worship player might be a bit tricky to use. And lastly on this cheap board is the Mooer Reecho pedal. So this is a phenomenal ambient soundscaping tool. This has analog, real echo, and tape echo modes. It's got plenty of delay time. It's really easy to use, really easy to get that time synced up as well. It's a great versatile pedal. It's great if you're just starting a worship pedal board and you just need a lot of ambience. This is perfect. I would highly recommend this. It does create quite a bit of background noise though if you use it with a daisy chain power supply, as you'll hear in this video, because it is a digital pedal and digital pedals are notorious for creating a lot of that background noise. So just be wary of that if you are going to get this pedal. It's also worth noting, because I forgot, the K-Line Orange Burst again runs between $30 and $50, and the Mooer Reecho between $50 and $80 depending on where you find it. Okay, so let's hear that cheap pedal board now. Okay, so our low mid price pedal board. Let's start off with our compressor for this one again. So we have got the Boss CS3. Very infamous pedal. You either love it or you hate it. I think it's very usable. It does create quite a bit of noise, and that's why it's quite notoriously hated. But it's very easy to tame that noise if you know how to use it. So this has got level, tone, attack, and sustain. So slightly different controls to the Joyo Dyna comp, because we've got a tone control now, which is actually really handy on a worship pedal board because it's just another way to shape your tone. What you're going to get from this pedal is a not so subtle compression, especially compared to the Joyo Dyna comp anyway. It's a very obvious compression. You know it's turned on when you turn it on. But it is a sound that a lot of people love. I think it works pretty well for worship music actually. And you can find these all the time everywhere, used for well under $100. Brand new, I think they're just over $100. Our transparent overdrive for this board is going to be the Mooer Blues Crab, which is probably the cheapest pedal on this board by a mile. So the Mooer Blues Crab is a clone of the Blues Breaker overdrive pedal circuit, which, if you don't know about that circuit, it's a very famous transparent overdrive. A lot of different types of Blues Breaker overdrive circuits have been used in worship music, most notably the JHS Morning Glory, which is on a lot of worship pedal boards, which is a Blues Breaker circuit. But so is this for a heck of a lot cheaper. This has a lot less gain than the previous K-Line Orange Burst, which I think is a good thing. It's very easy to use, very, very easy to use. It's very hard to get a bad sound out of this pedal. It's very forgiving to play for a new player, so you could even swap this out for the last pedal board, the cheap pedal board that we did, but it will bring the price up a bit. But yeah, it's just a great transparent overdrive pedal. So this runs between $50 and $80 depending on where you find it. Used, you can find them as low as $35, $40. Last but not least on this low mid price pedal board is our Boss DD7 digital delay. The jack of all trades, master of most of them, but not all of them. So this is a very famous, very versatile delay pedal. You can see it's got a bunch of different modes. So you've got all the digital delay modes at the top, and then you've got analog, reverse, and modulate down here. You can also put a tap tempo pedal in, which is really useful for worship music. So you can get an external tap tempo pedal and put it in, and then all of a sudden you can actually set the time of your delay yourself with your foot. This pedal is great because if you decide to get this, you can pretty much use it on any pedal board you go on to build, because even though it's not a super expensive pedal, it'll never ever break. It'll last a lifetime, and it sounds just as good as the big boys in the delay game. So it's a really great delay pedal, the Boss DD7. It's a great option for our low mid-price pedal board. So let's hear how that mid-price pedal board sounds now. And as I'm saying that, I've just forgot, this pedal runs between, this is a bit more expensive, between $100 and $150. New or used, depending on where you find it. So it's a bit more expensive, our DD7. But anyway, let's listen to that pedal board now. Okay, last but not least, we've got our expensive pedal board, which to be honest is still pretty cheap compared to most worship pedal boards out there, because it's only 3 pedals still, but they are great pedals. This is probably my favorite board. I know it's probably because it's the most expensive and it's just in my head, but I do love the sounds I got from this pedal board. So the first pedal is actually the cheapest pedal on this board. It's the new JHS 3 Series compressor. So this is their budget series from JHS. These run for about $99 in America, about $160 here in Australia. So still pretty good value, but just a bit more expensive than the Boss and the Joyo, obviously. You've got volume, attack, and sustain, or sustain could also be called compression as well as a bright switch, which is very bright, but you know, you might need that bright switch. It's a pretty handy tool if you need to add a bit more highs into your sound. It's a great subtle compressor. It sits right between the very heavy squash of the Boss CS3 and the Joyo Dyna compressor. So it's a great in-between those two compressors we've already tried. The next pedal is our transparent overdrive, which this is one of my favorite pedals of all time. I just got this version of it recently. It is the Exotic Effects BB Plus preamp. So I've had the BB preamp before. It's actually, this K-Line Orange Burst is based off a BB preamp. So this is the deluxe version of the BB preamp, which means it's got 2 channels. So you've got your BB preamp side, and then you've got your BB preamp plus side. It's got a few more tone controls and a more gain on tap. I don't know what I was doing there, but I got it out. It's a really phenomenal, extremely versatile overdrive pedal. I would love to say that it's a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's actually a jack of all trades, master of all. It's that good. It's a great versatile pedal. If you can find one, I would highly recommend it, or even just the normal BB preamp and not the BB Plus would do just fine as well. These run for about $200 to $250 used, depending on where you find them. I don't think they make them used anymore, but the BB preamp they still make brand new. And lastly, for our expensive pedal board is actually a pretty cheap pedal as far as delays and reverbs go, but it's one of my favorite pedals to use now because it's just so affordable and it just sounds so damn good. So it is the NUX Atlantic Reverb and Delay. So let's just go through the features. You've got delay that you can tap on this foot switch, which is amazing. You've got all your different subdivisions, so you can do whole notes, you can do dotted eighths, you can do the lot. Dotted eighths are very handy in worship. And then you've got your other delay controls as well as 3 different types of delays. So 70s tape, 60s analog, and 80s digital. I think that's how it goes. Then you've also got the reverb on this side, which is just decay and level, but you've also got spring, plate, and hall. And on the plate reverb, you can hold this down and get a shimmer reverb. So it is amazing. It's just an extremely do-it-all, versatile reverb and delay pedal. Again, it's kind of like the Boss DD3 for me anyway, where it's just going to go on any pedal board that I'm using. I've actually got 2 of these because I love them so much and I just want them on all my pedal boards. So that's how much I love this pedal and that's how good this pedal is. Brand new, these are under $200, which is really impressive. Or maybe they've just gone above $200 actually. They might be like $225, I'm not sure. But I know used, they go anywhere between $90 and $150. So if you can pick one of these up for $90, it's an absolute steal. Okay, so let's hear how that expensive worship pedal board sounds right now. Okay, so I hope you guys found this video helpful in assembling your worship pedal board or just geeking out on gear and, those sort of videos. Please like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and comment below which one you preferred factoring in that price as well. Please share this video in any forums or Facebook groups that you think might really appreciate a video like this. And that's it from me, so I will see you guys in the next video.